The kingdom of Judah was in turmoil. King Ahaziah was dead. He was the son of Athaliah, the daughter of the wicked King Ahab of Israel. Athaliah was a woman of fierce ambition and a heart consumed by darkness. Upon hearing of her son's demise, a wicked plan took root in her mind. She would secure her power no matter the cost. Athaliah's thirst for power was insatiable. She would eliminate any threat to her rule. Her own bloodline meant nothing to her. She ordered the execution of all her grandchildren, the rightful heirs to the throne. The house of David, the lineage of King David himself, was on the verge of annihilation. The kingdom held its breath, bracing for darkness. With the royal line seemingly extinguished, Athaliah seized control. She declared herself ruler of Judah. The people were aghast. They knew they were under the rule of a tyrant. However, none dared to oppose her. The memory of the massacre was fresh. Athaliah, drunk on power, reveled in her newfound authority. She desecrated the temple. She imposed the worship of Baal, the pagan god. The people of Judah were forced to watch as their beloved kingdom descended into wickedness. Their hearts yearned for a righteous leader. Fear and oppression gripped the land. Athaliah's reign was a dark chapter in Judah's history. The people whispered prayers in secret. They pleaded for deliverance from her tyranny. Little did they know hope was growing in a secret chamber within the temple walls. The rightful heir, Joash, was safe for now. However, the threat of discovery loomed large. Athaliah's spies were everywhere. The future of Judah was balanced on a knife's edge. Jehosheba's husband was Jehoiada, a high priest of the temple. He was a man of great wisdom and unwavering faith, known throughout the land for his devotion to God and his people. Together they devised a daring plan to hide Joash, the last surviving heir of the royal lineage. They knew the risks were immense, but their love for the child and their commitment to preserving the line of David gave them the courage to proceed. The temple, a sacred sanctuary, became their hiding place. Its ancient walls, steeped in history and reverence, would now serve as a fortress for the young prince. It was a risky move, but they had faith. Every prayer they whispered was a plea for protection. Every candle they lit was a beacon of hope in the darkness. They believed God would protect them. Their faith was their shield, their trust in divine providence, their guiding light. Jehoiada, a man of deep faith, knew the weight of their secret. The burden of safeguarding the future of their people rested heavily on his shoulders. He transformed a secluded chamber within the temple into a nursery. This hidden room, away from prying eyes, would be Joash's sanctuary. It would become Joash's home for the next 6 years. Within these walls he would grow, nurtured by the love and care of his guardians. Jehoiada and Jehosheba became his guardians, shielding him from the outside world. They were vigilant, always on guard, knowing that a single mistake could lead to their discovery. Every day was a delicate dance of secrecy and vigilance. They moved through the temple with quiet steps, always aware of the dangers that lurked outside. Jehosheba would sneak in to see Joash, her heart aching for her young nephew. Each visit was a bittersweet reunion, filled with love and longing. She would tell him stories of his lineage, of the great King David, instilling in him the legacy he carried. These tales were more than just bedtime stories. They were lessons in courage, honor, and destiny. Jehoiada, meanwhile, began to strategize. He knew that their time in hiding couldn't last forever. The day would come when Joash would need to take his rightful place. He knew Athaliah wouldn't be content with her stolen throne forever. Her reign was built on treachery, and such foundations are always unstable. He needed a plan to reclaim what was rightfully Joash's. This was not just about a throne, it was about restoring justice and faith in their land. He needed to rally the people of Judah. They would need to see the truth to understand the importance of Joash's survival and the hope he represented for their future. Jehoiada's resolve was unshakable, and his faith in their cause was absolute. Years passed, and the world outside the temple continued its relentless march forward. The sun rose and set, seasons changed, and the sands of time flowed steadily, marking the passage of days, months, and years. Within the sacred confines of the temple, Joash grew strong and resilient. The ancient walls, steeped in history and reverence, became his playground and his sanctuary. He wandered through the corridors, his footsteps echoing softly, a young boy unaware of the destiny that awaited him. Outside, the city was a cauldron of unrest and conflict. The streets were filled with the sounds of strife and the cries of a people under siege. Yet Joash remained blissfully ignorant of the turmoil that raged beyond the temple's protective embrace. Within the temple, Joash immersed himself in the sacred scriptures. He studied the ancient texts with a fervor and dedication that belied his young age. The words of the Lord became his guiding light, illuminating his path and shaping his understanding of the world. Joash was a bright and cheerful child, his spirit unbroken by the weight of his lineage. His laughter echoed through the temple gardens, a testament to his unyielding joy and innocence. He played with a carefree abandon, his heart light and his mind free from worry. Yet beneath his playful exterior, Joash was the hope of a nation, hidden in plain sight. He was the living embodiment of a promise, a beacon of light in a time of darkness. From behind the temple pillars, he watched the world with curious eyes, unaware of the monumental role he was destined to play. Jehoiada, the wise and gentle high priest, watched over Joash with a father's love and a mentor's guidance. He saw in the boy a spark of greatness, a potential that needed nurturing and protection. Joash looked up to Jehoiada with admiration and determination. In the boy's eyes, the high priest saw the flicker of leadership, a glimmer of the king he was meant to become. Their bond was one of mutual respect and unwavering trust. Under Jehoiada's tutelage, Joash learned the ways of kingship. He was taught to handle ancient artifacts with care, to read the scrolls with understanding, and to lead with wisdom and compassion. Each lesson was a step towards his destiny. Jehoiada instilled in Joash the values of justice, righteousness, and compassion. He taught him that a true king must be a servant to his people, a guardian of the weak, and a champion of the oppressed. These values became the cornerstone of Joash's character. Day by day, Joash honed his skills under Jehoiada's watchful eye. He practiced with diligence and determination, preparing for the day he would reclaim his birthright. The temple became his training ground, a place where he could grow and learn in safety. Outside the temple walls, the situation grew increasingly dire. Athaliah's grip on Judah tightened, her rule becoming more oppressive with each passing day. The city streets were patrolled by soldiers, a constant reminder of her tyrannical reign. The people of Judah suffered greatly under Athaliah's rule. The markets were desolate, the citizens downtrodden and weary. Hope seemed a distant memory, replaced by fear and despair. Yet, amidst the suffering, the people clung to a glimmer of hope. They gathered in prayer, their hearts longing for the restoration of the lineage of David. They looked towards the temple, their eyes filled with longing and expectation. They prayed fervently for a savior, for the day when their true king would return and bring justice and peace to their land. Their prayers were a chorus of hope, a collective plea for deliverance. As they looked towards the horizon, their hearts filled with hope, they believed that their prayers would soon be answered. The anticipation was palpable, a shared sense of expectation that united them in their longing for a better future. Among the crowd, the children looked up with wide-eyed anticipation. Their faces were a reflection of the hope that burned in the hearts of their elders. They too believed in the promise of a brighter tomorrow. Jehoiada, sensing the time was right, prepared to act. His expression was one of determination and resolve. He knew that the moment had come to set his plan in motion. With meticulous planning and unwavering resolve, Jehoiada set his plan in motion. The people moved with purpose, their actions guided by a shared vision of liberation and justice. The stage was set for a dramatic confrontation. The tension in the air was palpable as two opposing forces prepared to clash in a battle that would determine the fate of Judah. The fate of Judah hung in the balance as the people anxiously awaited the outcome. Their hopes and dreams rested on the shoulders of a young boy, hidden within the sanctuary of the temple, ready to emerge and claim his destiny. Jehoiada, a master strategist, began to rally support. He was a man of great wisdom and foresight, understanding the delicate balance of power and the importance of timing in such a volatile situation. He secretly met with the captains of the Carites and the guards. These meetings were held under the cover of night in the shadows, away from prying eyes and ears. These were the loyal soldiers of the kingdom. They despised Athaliah's reign. Her rule was marked by tyranny and oppression, and the soldiers had grown weary of her heavy hand. They yearned for the rightful king's return. The hope of a just and righteous ruler was a beacon in their hearts, a light in the darkness of their current plight. Jehoiada revealed the truth to them. He spoke of the hidden heir, the one who had been kept safe from Athaliah's murderous grasp. Joash, the heir to the throne, was alive. This revelation was like a spark in dry tinder, igniting a fire of hope and determination. He had been hidden within the temple all these years. The captains were astonished. They had believed the royal line to be extinguished, but now they saw a glimmer of hope. They pledged their allegiance to Joash without hesitation. Their loyalty was unwavering, their resolve strengthened by the knowledge of the true king's survival. The embers of rebellion were fanned into a flame. Jehoiada devised a plan. He knew that timing was crucial and that their actions must be swift and decisive. On the Sabbath, under the cover of the religious festivities, he would reveal Joash to the people. The Sabbath was a time of gathering, a perfect opportunity to unveil the hidden heir. It was a risky maneuver. The stakes were incredibly high, and the consequences of failure were dire. Athaliah would be present at the temple for the Sabbath. Her presence added an element of danger, but also an opportunity to confront her directly. However, Jehoiada was a man of immense faith. He believed that their cause was just and that they were guided by a higher power. He trusted in God's plan. His faith was a source of strength and courage, bolstering the resolve of those around him. The tension in Jerusalem was palpable. The city was a powder keg, ready to explode at the slightest spark. Whispers of the true king's survival spread like wildfire. The news traveled quickly, carried on the lips of those who dared to hope. The people yearning for deliverance dared to hope again. They had suffered under Athaliah's rule, and the prospect of a rightful king brought a renewed sense of possibility. The stage was set for a showdown, a clash between tyranny and righteousness. The forces of good and evil were poised to collide, and the outcome would shape the future of the kingdom. The Sabbath arrived. The temple thronged with worshippers. Athaliah, unaware of the brewing storm, sat on her throne, a symbol of her usurped power. The air crackled with anticipation. The moment of truth was at hand. Jehoiada orchestrated every detail meticulously. He positioned the Carites and the guards strategically around the temple. They were armed and ready, their loyalty unwavering. Then, in a heart-stopping moment, he brought forth Joash. The crowd gasped. There, standing before them, was their true king. Young Joash, a picture of youthful innocence and regal bearing, stood tall. Jehoiada held a crown above the boy's head. It glittered under the temple lights, a symbol of hope. In that singular, electrifying moment, the tide turned.